February 11th, 2016, Thursday after Ash Wednesday.
A reading from the book of Deuteronomy. Moses said to the people, "Today I have set before you life and prosperity, death and doom. If you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I enjoin on you today, loving Him and walking in His ways, and keeping His commandments, statutes, and decrees, you will live and grow numerous, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land you are entering to occupy. If, however, you turn away your hearts and will not listen, but are led astray and adore and serve other gods, I tell you now that you will certainly perish. You will not have a long life on the land that you are crossing the Jordan to enter and occupy. I call heaven and earth today to witness against you. I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. Choose life then, that you and your descendants may live by loving the Lord your God, heeding His voice, and holding fast to Him. For that will mean life for you, a long life for you to live on the land that the Lord swore He would give to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, "Blessed are they who hope in the Lord. Blessed the man who follows not the counsel of the wicked, nor walks in the way of sinners, nor sits in the company of the insolent, but delights in the law of the Lord, and meditates on His law day and night. Blessed are they who hope in the Lord. He is like a tree planted near running water that yields its fruit in due season, and whose leaves never fade. Whatever he does prospers. Blessed are they who hope in the Lord. Not so the wicked, not so. They are like chaff which the wind drives away. For the Lord watches over the way of the just, but the way of the wicked vanishes. Blessed are they who hope in the Lord."
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to His disciples, "The Son of Man must suffer greatly and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised." Then He said to all, "If anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. What profit is there for one to gain the whole world, yet lose or forfeit himself?" The Gospel of the Lord.
February 11th, Thursday after Ash Wednesday. The first reading comes from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verses 15 to 20. This reading is typical of Deuteronomy. It presents two options to the people of Israel, life and death. They will choose life if they obey the commandments of the Lord. They will choose death if they don't. In the Jewish world, when one was making a covenant, there were a series of blessings and curses that were called upon the people who were entering into that covenant. If you kept the prescriptions of the covenant, you were to be blessed. But if you didn't, you were to be cursed. And that's exactly what we see here. It's not so much that God would call a curse down upon the people. They would call it down upon themselves, because every sin carries its own punishment. When we choose sin, we choose to alienate ourselves from God, from each other, even from creation. Remember the account of Adam and Eve and how they sinned, and how they alienated themselves from God. They hid from God. They alienated themselves from each other. Adam blames Eve. And they even alienate themselves from nature. Eve blames the snake. Well, that is death, and we don't want to choose that, so we choose life. Notice this is very dualistic. It doesn't talk about any grays. But there are times when you have to be dualistic, when you have to say it's a choice of life and death. Lent is a time to recognize that we can't sit on the fence anymore. We have to make a choice. And that choice is outlined in the Gospel, Luke 9:22-25. Jesus, first of all, predicts that he'll have to suffer much and be killed and raised on the third day. Jesus calls himself the Son of Man, which is the title he tends to use for himself all throughout the Gospels. He doesn't call himself the Messiah or the Lord. He calls himself the Son of Man. And that is taken from Daniel 7, where the Son of Man would receive power and authority over the nations. But whenever Jesus uses that title, he also includes vocabulary from the Songs of the Suffering Servant, those 4 poems that are found in Deutero-Isaiah, 40-55 of Isaiah, which speak about a mysterious figure who would suffer for the sins of the people, die, and be raised from the dead. Jesus also says that if we want to save our life, we have to be willing to die. Because if we try to save ourselves, then we'll be selfish, and we'll already have died within ourselves. But if we're willing to die to ourselves, to be generous, to be giving, to not think of our own wants and desires, then we'll truly be able to live in the love that Christ has expressed through the cross. And may God bless us.